Hi, Payal, and welcome to today's show. It's pleasure having you and pleasure have you for the topic which is really close to my heart and which I have struggled a lot. This health, fitness, and stress. I think these three words were never spoken of. I was just experiencing health deteriorating, fitness not part of my dictionary, and the stress mounting every day. And for those reasons, I feel it's really good to have you and have your views on this, which is part of your day-to-day life. Okay, so to start with, Payal, now women are juggling multiple things like home plus ABC.
Never
Like
ending.
yeah. Previously, it was home plus kids, probably is what I would say a few decades ago, but now it's home plus work plus kids plus social media plus social commitments. And in this busy schedule, how can women find importance of fitness in their life? Not that find time for the fitness, but acknowledge importance of fitness in their life.
Right. Thank you so much first, Namrata, for having me here. Okay, it's a pleasure to, do this with you and hopefully to, help create more awareness when it comes to health, for women, right? So, see, the importance of fitness generally, it is like twofold, right? So one is, unless something happens in your life, then you have no choice but to focus on, your health or your fitness, which means that something has to go wrong for you to do something right. Yeah. The other is basically realizing that what eventually is the purpose, like, what is the purpose of health and fitness? Right now, there are people or there are women who look at it from the perspective that I want to, give more to my family, so I want to be fit. I want to work better, so I want to be fit. Not many women have come across who say that I want to do this for myself, right? And either ways, whatever the reason is, if it keeps you consistent, okay, if it keeps you consistent in your journey of kind of, becoming a better version of yourself, every day taking that small step, not wanting to go to the gym but still doing it, or not having the time to make your healthy meals but still doing something, that would work for the day. So I think that's really what's important, and that would only come with how is your relationship with yourself. So for example, like for me, if my relationship with myself is really good and top priority, it means that if I want to celebrate, I would celebrate in probably having more of healthy food or more of non refined foods, because for me that would be celebrating, because I'm not putting any junk in myself, right? Even when it comes to fitness, for me, every day waking up early and going for that run, whether I feel like it or I don't feel like it, I need to just push myself to go out of the house. So that is, that's fitness, and that's only possible if you have a good strong relationship with yourself first. Most of the women we know will always keep themselves at last. They'll do stuff for their family, they'll do stuff for their work, their colleagues, boss, everyone around them. And then agar time bachega, then we'll see. So that's the attitude that needs to change. Yeah.
Okay. And what are the triggers of stress that we tend to miss?
So generally, if you feel anxiety, right? If you feel anxiety, overwhelmness, so somewhere there's definitely something that's triggered, right? If you're not, as how you are on day-to-day basis, if you feel that your sleep is affected, if you feel, there's something in your body that's showing up which is not regular, a lot of it is to do with the stress, right? Because the more stress that you're taking in, it is going to manifest, unfortunately, some way or the other in the body. It needs to release. So either you find your own stress relievers, okay, which I will talk about it later, or otherwise the body does it in, in the form of maybe back pains, acidity, anxiety, depression on a mental level. So it comes mentally and physically both. Yeah.
And how does fitness help in managing stress in our day-to-day life?
So, even I smile when I say that naturally because I love fitness so much. But basically, when you focus on your fitness levels, right? you release a lot of, let's say you release a lot of good hormones in the body. Okay, so that could be your endorphins, you get an adrenaline rush. So it is a feel-good factor. So when you actually work out, you really feel good about yourself. Now, when you feel good about yourself, automatically your attitude changes, your behavior changes, with the people around you. Okay, which means more positivity. Your decision-making changes. So your entire day, especially when you do your, fitness in the morning, your entire day kind of carves out really well. You really standard. As opposed to, maybe waking up late, not working out, rushing. So that kind of mindset can actually cause disruption in your day.
Mm. Okay. And how also are there any parameters where we could identify early sign of stress and the impact that stress would have on mental health of a woman?
So I feel that where stress is concerned, it's relative. But if it's something that's hampering your day-to-day activities, now your activities could be even as simple as, say, cooking, as simple as walking, to even sleeping. So, I'll give you an example, right? So I am a banker, rather, I was a banker. Okay, yeah. So, corporate life, right? It was massive stress, deadlines and targets and everything. And I remember not maybe like, one night I would have got like a really nice, calm, decent sleep. And this kept on repeating on and on and on, as a result of which, one thing that definitely affected was my menstrual cycle. I mean, the time that I was working, not once would have, I got my periods on time, and that's never happened before in my life, literally. So, that's how much stress can affect. So if you see a disruption, in your daily life, see, for me, it was sleep. For me, it was also sudden weight gain. Now, the stress, when it becomes really intense, it may start as, simple things like, not being able to focus, not being able to sleep, feeling the fear, all of those, right? And then when you reach out for, other substances or other things to kind of calm down stress, then you need to realize that, yes, you are going away from your normal functioning of life. So, for example, for me, the stress was so intense that after 6 months of continuously taking in a lot of stress, my health really went down. And then I was diagnosed with hypothyroid as a result of the stress, as a result of not sleeping well, as a result of it affecting my body, as a result of getting hypothyroid. Right. So,
Mm.
and then again, see, if you look at it, this is what was caused through me. Like, even though a factor may be something else, but this happened because of the stress that I take in here, which means that now if I don't want hypothyroid, okay, no matter if, so people say, yes, it's a lifestyle disorder, which it was, obviously, lack of sleep and too much stress, not focusing on eating good as well. And then, eventually I knew that if I could get this through the power of my, non-efficient mindset, I could get this out through my efficiency of my mindset, so that's when I decided to focus 3 months only on reversing it. Focus and did whatever I could, like, gave my 200% to reverse, this disease. And that happened. And it's been like about 13, 14 years now, and now got it back. So that's the power that you can do. And that's how you can recognize stress when you're going off track with your, daily routine or even your mindset, then you know that, yes, something is wrong.
Mm. And does stress impact men and women differently, or it has almost same impact?
So in terms of health, it does affect internally for sure. Stress does. So I explained to you how it affected the hormone levels, which is why I got thyroid. It does for women also. It does affect your heart. For men more. Okay. Again, because of mostly for most men, they're more prone to belly fat right at the center. So that also affects their heart directly. Stress affects cholesterol levels, and that is for both, right? Men and women both. So it shoots up your cholesterol, it affects your BP. So most of this time, even though stress Internally is, very, very like, similar between men and women. It does affect hormonally, it does affect the heart, it does affect your, your cholesterol levels, it does affect that, it affects your BP. Yet when you look at it in terms of the level of stress, that is different between men and women. See, as women, we juggle a fair bit, right? In terms of home, in terms of work, in terms of, families, multiple things. And for men, primarily, yes, there's a lot of stress when it comes to their work, so it's like, a soul kind of a thing, right? That you're focusing more on your work, stress is coming up more over there. So the level of stress or the intensity of stress can differ, and men and women can take it in a different way, for sure. Yeah.
So in this scenario, how does exercising helps in a scenario of high stress?
Exercising helps you because firstly, see, apart from what is doing I mean, honestly, for those watching, right, where how many times when you exercise, you feel like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that. I feel so good, suddenly you feel lighter, your mood improves, you feel better. Like, so for me, as an example, if something bothers me or something bums me out, the first thing I do is I just wear my sports shoes, I take my AirPods, I, take my phone and I go for a run. And after that, that situation just fizzes out completely. It doesn't bother me, nothing. And I feel so good after I do that. Right. So it's very simple. Apart from the fact that it releases endorphins in your body, the good hormones in your body, it helps to regulate your mood. It helps to, calm you down. So that's like the direct effect of, what you see, like, in terms of exercising. And internally, when you exercise, right, you feel like really happy and confident about yourself. So that's another thing, right? It works externally. Externally could, of course, also be like, your weight loss, your fat loss, and all of that. And internally is that the fact that your relationship with yourself improves. You feel happy. You feel that you are doing, justice to your body. And, your health primarily is very important because that's the only thing that's going to be with you at old age. Your money may go, your home may change, but it's you and your body is going to be there, like, till old age. So you need to really value your health. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So if like we have a regular exercise scheduled and we work out regularly, in this scenario, what would be the role of rest and recovery in maintaining our fitness level?
Rest and recovery is very important because sometimes, exercising is good. See, anything and everything, when you go over and above, the limit, is going to cause you harm. So excessive exercise is also going to cause you harm, right? And the fact that if you're exercising and you maintain that routine, always make sure that you give yourself 1 day of complete rest. Rest days differs from people to people. Okay, so for some, it could be rest day, which is like, doing nothing, chilling and not really doing any physical exercise. For some day, rest days could be just sticking to walks a bit more. So, maybe clocking in 10K steps, but hey, that's my rest day. Right. So for me, example, rest day is not when I'm like not doing anything, because I still believe that body is meant to move like, the entire, your entire life. So my rest day would be just, focusing more on steps that day, walking in more, but maybe not lifting any weights or not doing any high intensity interval training. So that would be giving body a rest. See, body is always signaling or telling you when it needs that rest. But most of the time, we're not really listening. So when we don't listen, that's when injuries come in. And that's when, the side effects of over-exercising comes in.
Hmm. And what role, what is the role of body-mind connection? Basically, how exercising would help your mind and how your thought process helps you to push and continue to do your exercises.
Yeah, so see, this is a very different factor. Um, Earlier on, so this is earlier in my career, so maybe like, 8, 9 years earlier, I was used to focus more on fitness. It was more of skill set development, right? So a lot of certifications in fitness, nutrition, focus more on physical aspect, because eventually women want to lose weight and look good, right? So do men, you want to lose weight and look good, right? So that's the final perspective is that. But later on, I realized that, there are these set of people who would lose weight, feel good about themselves, and stay that way. And then there were a set of people who would lose weight, feel good, nice, gain back, come back, again lose, fine, perfect, again gain back and come back. And the difference primarily between the two was the mindset, right? Which is when I realized that I wanted to actually work, more on the mindset and then get the transformation so it's more sustainable. And when you talk about mind and body, so that's exactly like how even my MBT program is like mind body transformation challenge. Because the idea is for everyone to focus on their mindset, to change their mindset, and then get the results, and then sustain those results. So the mind plays a very important role because you may do things externally, but unless you have the consistency or the self-discipline, you're not going to be able to sustain it. So that's the whole perspective when we look at that kind of a transformation. It's a deeper transformation. So it's not about only following a nutrition plan. It's not about only workouts, but it's also about how do you build sustainable habits to help you feel good also about yourself. Every time that you tell yourself you're going to work out and then you don't, it's like you're kind of, degrading yourself in your own eyes. And then sometimes it comes a point where you have just stopped having any expectations from yourself. So that's something that needs to, I feel, change really badly because, if people are more aware, if they have the right mentor, the right push, they can become a better, healthier, confident, fit version of themselves. And again, if that comes from within through the power of the mindset and subconscious mind, it's going to last more.
Mm. And right now, the lifestyle that you and I and all around us are living, it's more of a sedentary lifestyle. And there is hardly any outlook towards changing this lifestyle. So, what are the long-term health implication of leading this lifestyle? That is my first question. And I would also like to know from you, how can we move away from this lifestyle to a better and healthy lifestyle?
Okay. So you must have heard this, no? Sitting is now the new smoking.
Yes, yes.
Basically sitting when we see long term, of course, it has massive side effects. In fact, during COVID time, I remember, when we kind of started doing our workouts again in the studios, when it opened up, post COVID, I had all my members who were so fit, fit before COVID. They were like, Payal, we've got spondo, and then we've got these neck issues, we've got cervical issues, and this is hurting, and that is gone. And that was because of excessive sitting on their laptops, right? So many of our members, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And that was a result of excessive sitting, excessive computer work. Anything that you do excessive is going to have side effects, right? So the short-term side effects, to be very honest, would be more at a physical level, which you can feel and see. Right. So you go, oh my gosh, this is paining, my neck is gone, and all of that. So, and we can work on that accordingly. The long-term side effects, right? When you're sitting for a long time, and again, body is meant to move, so you're not really doing that. It affects your heart for the first thing, right? Because see, for your heart to pump more effectively, there has to be a good amount of cardiovascular endurance, which means when you work out, you build on that, right? So simple activities are not going to make you feel breathless. Why? Because heart is pumping better. But if you're going to be sitting all the time, that's going to affect your heart, firstly, your joints. I saw a lot of young people with, joint pains, which generally happens when they're much older. So again, that is because of long sitting. Your muscles, they're meant to kind of, move, lift, do stuff. But if you're going to be sitting all the time, that purpose is also gone. So even things like, even disease like arthritis can step in early. Yeah. Long sitting again affects internally in terms of your hormones, right? Lack of physical activity. So that affects your hormones. So again, hormonal level, lot of youngsters, in fact, or even young women nowadays, overstressed women, you would find them with some hormonal issue or the other. And a lot of them, even at the studio, I would see a lot because like simple things, right? So even young girls who would, study for their 12th boards, they would come to me and they'll be like, okay, listen, my board exams, forget about this much weight I've gained. I've got PCOD now. My periods are not coming on time, or this is happening. So that's again all the side effects of sitting, long sitting. So when they say sitting is a new smoking, trust me, it is true because it really affects your health in a very negative way. So no matter how your job requires you to sit for long hours, you always have that option to move more. So I had a client, and she was on one-to-one with me when I had the studio. Then she was, so basically ours was a commercial building. So she was in the same building itself on the same floor. And she would come to me and she'd be like, listen, her work was more to do with, the stock market and stuff. She said, I'm glued to my seat. I said, when do you take your lunch break? She's like, once the market closes and all, I get like a good 1.5 hour. I said that 1.5 hour, you take out 15-20 minutes for your lunch. Okay, rest 1 hour. I want to see you walking outside and I will step out and I will check, and that's what she would do. So sometimes what happens is that small changes, it is challenging to do on your own because you've had a routine for so long. That has been your way of living. So now to switch that to a more active one, it is a challenge. But you need to push yourself and get help, get your colleagues to do that, or, get someone else to push you to do that. But make sure that you're moving more, even if it means like, if it's like, sitting for like, say an hour and then just move for 5-7 minutes and come back. If it means taking shorter lunch breaks and then keeping the rest of the time to move more, do that. So, every little thing that you can do for moving yourself more is going to go a long way when it comes to your health. Yeah.
Okay. I would just like to understand from you, are there any misconception around fitness or exercising or working out? Because I hear a lot about all this that if you are regularly going to gym, once you stop going to gym, you would put on a lot of weight. If you're doing particular set of exercise, then the other part of body may not get toned. You'll have to focus on different exercise. You cannot continue doing same exercise every day. Are this real or these are myths that we are hearing?
So the first one, honestly, when you mentioned basically that when you go to the gym and then you stop gymming, you tend to gain weight. Now, this is when you will tend to gain weight. If, for example, you're burning, say, about 700 calories, 600, 700 calories in a day, as an example, suddenly you stop burning that, right? Now you're not going to the gym anymore, so you stop burning that, okay? But your eating habits is still the same, which means you are going to gain weight. It's not the question of going to the gym or not. It's a question of you're not burning off those calories and you're eating the same. If you're stopping gym, okay, and if you're not going to the gym and if you're not working out at all, but you're keeping a strict control of your food intake, right? In that case, you won't gain, but yes, you may lose muscle. Right? So eventually, whatever format of workout that you're doing, if that's going to stop, and if you're not replacing it with something else or some other format, right? Then again, you are going to see a weight gain. So for example, if I was to, I used to love doing HIIT, like, CrossFit kind of workouts. So I do that for the longest of times. But the second I would stop, I would start gaining if I'm not focusing on my nutrition. Or if I would stop HIIT, I would swap it with, some running. If I would stop running, then I would swap it with stairs. So something or the other that you need to keep going. So again, it doesn't have to be like, really one, like, as you mentioned, right? So then your next question was basically that you need to keep changing your workout routines and, not stick with the same thing. Do what works for you eventually. Because you're smart enough to realize that this is working for you, this is helping you become stronger, this gives you more energy, you feel less joint pains, you feel like really alive and happy, confident every single day. So do more of that. But if you have a target, like for example, if you have a goal that you want to lose 10 kgs, and then if you hit a plateau, you can change your workout, you can change your nutrition to keep on that journey till you don't basically reach your goal. right? But if you're looking at, from like, if you're already like, decently fit and you just want to maintain, then look at different formats of workouts. You can still just stick to the same thing, whatever you feel gives you result and works for you. So for some people, they don't like really going to the gym, but they love doing Ashtanga yoga. So, does that mean that they don't get the same benefits? No, they still have a great core. They have great, they have great strength, upper body, lower body, because they're, like working on that through their own body weight, which is again very effective. So yeah, basically, if you have a set goal, then yeah, you may need to like, modify a little bit, especially if you hit a plateau. But otherwise, yeah, just, keep doing different things, right? Explore different options. So whatever works for you works. Yeah.
While you did briefly touch on nutrition element, so how does nutrition complement exercising to build the fitness level that an individual desires?
So if you're say, for example, eating really clean foods, right? And if you're kind of focusing on putting in things that's going to help you, give you energy, that's going to help you build strength, that's going to help you, in terms of your vitamins, minerals, and you're going to feel more fit and happy, that's going to obviously help you in your workouts. But if you're the kind of person who's going to put in a lot of junk, okay, that is going to give you temporary release of energy only, because it's probably going to be only high carbs. Okay, so you're just going to get the temporary release of energy, but there is no nutrition in that, right? So nutrition is when you're actually putting in nutritious foods in your body. So, for example, if you were to say, if you have a child and if you're going to give the child junk all the time and then expect the child to be really like, healthy, fit, and fine, that's not going to happen, right? Same thing, for us. If we're going to be putting in healthy food, and that is going to complement your workouts, is because you're going to have the energy to work out. And no matter what's said and done, if you put in good foods in your body, it always gives you a good feel from within that you are respecting your body, you are respecting yourself, and then you are putting in, eventually you're putting in foods that's going to help you maintain your body in the long run, right?
Hmm.
As opposed to filling yourself with junk and then experiencing a lot of, your triglycerides going up, your cholesterol going up, and then not being able to work out properly. So all that does affect. Yeah.
Do you believe fitness contributes to longevity or fitness helps in staying away from disease?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel that fitness is very, very important when it comes to longevity and, disease reversal. I myself have seen, because I used yoga. So as a tool for me to reverse my thyroid, that was one of the things that I was really consistent and disciplined with, because I knew, like, I wanted to reverse it. So similarly, like if you have a specific goal, again, definitely, fitness comes in a long way. Uh, in your health perspective, like, see, nowadays, okay, if you see, there are a lot of women, specifically if you are sedentary and not doing workouts, you may be in your 30s and you're suffering with massive back pain and, spondylosis and different issues with your back, with your knee. I've had people who are as young as 30-year-olds having already, osteoarthritis set in. Right. So that is something that fitness can really, really help in a long way. I would say that because I feel that I myself exemplify that, because I started working out or lifting weights when I was 16. And I that's one of I love to lift weights. Okay, so I mean, for me, it's just like, it's my to go place, it's my me time. So sometimes there are times when I go at really odd times also, but I make sure that I do it because I want to do this for myself, right? So if I've been doing that consistently and I'm 45 now, I don't have any issues whatsoever with my health. So that's partly because of fitness. I'm very disciplined when it comes to fitness, in for myself, right? So then in that case, I know that, okay, my goal is not to be dependent on anyone in my old age. So that's my goal. So that's my why. My big why of doing what I do for my health is I don't want to be dependent on anyone. I want to be independent. I still want to be able to do things when I'm 50, 55, 60. So that's why, I focus on fitness. So again, that's when the longevity comes in. And that's definitely when, your strength builds up. And of course, more strength in the body, it helps you, fight off from different diseases like, your arthritis. Again, when we look at cholesterol or hormonal imbalance. So it plays a big role.
Mm. So, what would be the ideal time that one can schedule in their calendar towards exercise, fitness, working out, which would get them the energy and strength required to go through the day, at the same time, stay positive mentally?
Yeah. So I think for a lot of people, morning works. Okay. Now I'll tell you why morning works for a lot of people is because when you wake up in the morning, and the first thing if you do is basically, okay, so one could be, of course, sitting with yourself and then, gratitude, and then, you move towards working out. That is in the morning itself, body is going to release endorphins and you're going to have the feel good factor, right? Feel good factor is that you start your day on a more positive note. Once you do that, and generally when you get different challenges in the day, it doesn't affect you so much because you've started your day with that. Second, you're happy that you're being consistent, so you're happy with yourself. Third is that you feel, of course, good about yourself. You're more energized, right? Fourth is, hey, you're getting some D3 also if you're doing, workout outdoors. So in that case, your day is defined better. So for majority, I would suggest keeping your fitness routine in the morning. And reality, speaking, the fact is ki if you keep it for end of the day, when would that really happen unless you are so dedicated and so committed that you are going to do it no matter what. Like for me, last night I ended up hitting the gym at 9 and then I came home like by 10:15, 10:20. That's because I didn't get a chance to work out in the morning, but I knew that no, you know what, I want to do this. I don't have to do it, but I want to do it. That's what I keep telling myself. Right. So I was like, okay, so there goes my bit of the family time, but it was a choice that I need to make, family or gym, right? And I know that, okay, my health is valuable. So, and my family is supportive and understand. So yeah, I mean, that's when I did that. But not many people can do that because by the time your end of the day is so either exhausted or you have so many other things to do that you'd rather do that than focus on yourself. Having said that, there are a few people, like recently one of my clients told me that, Payal, I cannot work out in the morning. I feel too uncomfortable when I do that. So can you give me another option? And then I'll be like, okay, you know what? Once you finish off, and she's a homemaker. So once you finish off your morning routine, which is by 11, you're done, tiffins done, kids, husband, all out and stuff, then do that, then spend that time with yourself and work out. So it also depends on what's working for you. I would definitely any day suggest, early morning because that's the time that you can make for yourself. You get yourself that bit of time before the rest of the madness of the day starts and you're better equipped. You're better equipped for the day. So that's something that I recommend. But again, listen to your body. If you feel morning workouts, doesn't help, as in sometimes people even physically may feel dizzy or they may feel uneasy, then stick to a midday workout. Yeah.
And what should be the ideal workout time limit, like an hour of workout or little longer or lesser? And in a week, do we need to work out every day, or we can club workout with rest days?
So earlier on, right, it was more like workouts were being, an hour, an hour and a half, especially if it's a gym workout, then to take that long. But ideally, the workouts that you do, see the idea for the workout is basically for you to be in a better place than you started, right? In terms of physically, mentally, and even emotionally, right? You should feel good about yourself and better space. So if you have a time constraint, okay, then stick to shorter workouts. It will work. It's not like it won't work. But if you have that time limit, if you don't have a time constraint and you want to spend proper time, especially if you're doing gymming, it takes a lot of time. If you're doing yoga, then 45 minutes to an hour is also good enough. If you're doing HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, even 20 to 25 minutes or half an hour max is more than enough. Right? So every workout, the purpose of every workout is different, right? For gym, it's to build strength. Simple, right? It's to build strength. For doing something like a HIIT is to build cardiovascular endurance. For yoga is great for stretching, flexibility, and building on your body weight, so your body strength. So different workouts are meant for different purpose. So I'll give an example. Generally, I make sure that I gym and then I make sure I do cardio. Now I've got a trek coming up, and that's of course with Thaddeus this month, end of this month. So since the past 4 months, the routine has completely changed. Right, I'm focusing on endurance, which means that I'm walking longer with weights on the back. So I'm walking longer. So in that case, I'm not restricting myself to 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours also, because trekking is all about walking long distances, right? I mean, and of course, there's a climb. So I'm doing weighted climbs. So I'm, carrying an 8 kg or 10 kg backpack, and then I climb stairs for about 45 minutes, 1 hour, half an hour, to build on that, right? Build on my quad strength, again, focusing on the heart. So your purpose of workout generally, like for me now, this is specific. So I know that I'm following a specific routine. But for those who are focusing on your fitness level, then incorporate definitely your strength, yoga, and your cardio. Like, it should be a good mix of that. It doesn't have to be long hours. It can be even shorter, but just work out smarter, right? So you can do like, small set of workouts. Like, for example, I'll give you my thing, right? I wake up in the morning and my first hour of the morning is basically my run. My first almost 1.5 hour rather is basically my run, meditation, visualization, gratitude, and body weight workouts, which is push-ups and squats, two things. So that's my early morning routine. My late evening routine is 45 minutes to an hour of gym thrice a week. Right. And then I do yoga or stretching once or twice a week. So basically, that's how I combine different workouts. So when it comes to workout, no workout is like the perfect fit. So it's not like one size fits all, but see what works for you. So for people who've got knee issues, then we can do different programs, which doesn't involve too much of also squatting, lunging, and all of that. But yet you're building and you're focusing on your quad strength with the help of resistance band, physio balls, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's all workouts are good. There is no, I mean, as in there is no bad or good. It depends on what you love to do. So ensure that you're doing that rather than people forcing you to do it. कि अगर, some people, हम लोग ने सुना है gym बहुत अच्छा है, so हम gym जाते हैं, but they hate it. A lot of people don't like doing gym workouts. Then don't do it. Figure out an alternative that works for you. What makes you happy? If tennis makes you happy, if Zumba makes you happy, if HIIT makes you happy, if doing say YouTube workouts make you happy, whatever it is that makes you happy, you do that under the guidance of a good instructor, so you don't get injuries. But that's what will always help.
And how does technology support all this? So we have a lot of apps talking about workouts. They give you small videos you see and you do. How do we incorporate technology with our desire to achieve fitness goal? And how safe is this?
Yeah, so see, safety perspective, honestly, it depends how much, proactive you've been when it comes to fitness. Like if you know your correct, forms, if you know basic forms of everything, then yes, even online workouts, it's good. Like, the technology, some people do it Insta live, some people give you recorded workouts, so all of that works if you're aware if the correct form and technique. Because if not, then chances of injury is also high. Right. So that is one thing. So technology is very convenient, okay, in terms of making sure that you get access to the workouts, but it still comes down to self-discipline and consistency. Sometimes we have all the, the technology aspects or the, easy aspects to work out, to get so much info and to do a lot of things, but yet you're not doing it is because somewhere that self-discipline consistency is lacking. So, for those even when all of this is available and it's, you're still not being able to push yourself, you need to look inside and see what you really want. What is the purpose of you working out, right? Finding the deep why. And then, yes, all of this can be a blessing and then you can focus on the workouts. So I think for like a lot of people, especially, in COVID, they've never been able to go back to the physical offline workouts because they're so happy doing it online. Even my sister, for the longest time, she would do online workouts for 3 years, day in and day out, very consistent, keeping one day as rest day. Otherwise, all 6 days a week she's working out online, like, because her self-discipline is very good. So she ensured that no matter what, she's going to do workouts, and she did that. So I think it again comes down to that. You want to make use of this, you want to do it, it can be a blessing because you can work out then according to your time, anywhere, everywhere, right? So even if, you've got like a 1 hour lunch break, there are people who do 20 minutes workout together with their colleagues. Works, So what basically, yeah, just look at what works for you. And of course, to keep it really, really, the safety aspect in terms of injuries. There are so many times, people get crazy amount of injuries because they're not aware of the form and they don't have anyone to guide them. And that is one thing. You have one body, please respect it. Do your workouts through proper guidance. Invest in a trainer, invest in a good trainer. So that will save you from all your hospital bills later on. Yeah. But just make sure that, you get the form right. And then, you can always, do what works for you. Yes. Yeah.
Uh, Payal, you did highlight that there has to be a limit till which we stretch ourselves so that the exercise does not become an injury or exercise does not start having negative repercussion on our body.
Yeah.
So how do we identify that we've hit our limit? We should not push ourselves any further. When it comes to fitness, the usual norm is like if today you are able to do 20 push-ups, try for 25 tomorrow, try for 15 next week, try for 100 following month. At what stage we realize that it's now the time to stop pushing ourselves?
So I think eventually it's a battle of you versus you, right? So even when it comes to wanting to do more or when to stop, generally the body signals you that this much is enough. So there's always this thing of, if you're going to start with 20 push-ups, of course you want to, become better at that. So maybe after a couple of days, you will focus on 25. And then maybe a week after that, you're doing 30. So in that case, you're focusing on building your strength slowly. That is important because you're doing small, consistent steps. So when you're increasing, whether it's increasing weights, whether it's increasing reps, whatever you're increasing, gradually is still going to cause you less injuries. So the time when you know that, okay, now you need to kind of stop is when your body is responding to the fact that, something is not happening correctly. I'll give you a simple example. I told you I was training for the trek and I was doing my routine and I did very gradual changes. Okay. So it wasn't like, very super big changes, gradual changes to kind of, reach where I wanted to be before I go for the trek. But what happened in between is I suddenly started getting a lot of swelling, in and around my feet. And I was wondering what's happening. I've never got, swollen feet in my life. So what's happening now? Right. So, I started questioning myself what didn't work. I, of course, did a few, blood tests as well to, rule out a couple of things, and that was fine. So that was okay. But then this was more to do with physical aspect. And I realized that from jumping from like, say, 4-5 kgs backpack with doing a stairs of half an hour, I jumped to doing stairs for 1 hour and doubling the quantity on the backpack, about 8 kgs. So this is what didn't work, okay, when it became excess and my legs were crying out to me, yaar, bus ho gaya, kind of thing, right? But this is what didn't work. I jumped the weight as well as I jumped the time. Ideally, I should have jumped one of those, which means it was too big a step, right? It was too big a leap, which is why, I was feeling what I was. Then too, body was signaling that, enough is enough. Like, it is, stretching, it is going up. And still the next day I went for a 1 hour run. Yeah. but sometimes I get really carried away, So that's when I paused and I took a break of, 3 days. I said, let's figure out what's happening. And then when I realized, okay, this is not working. This is what didn't work. Now I'm like, okay, I'm more cautious, right? So every time that anything that you experience, life is always teaching you a lesson. There is no good, there is no wrong, there is no right. It's a lesson that you're learning. So when it comes to your workouts, when it comes to what is enough, firstly, get a good structured plan of how you want to train yourself day on day. Like I have a very clear structured plan on what I should be doing every single day of the month. Right. And then accordingly, do that. If you feel that at any point you feel excessive tiredness, or if you feel that, you're just not up for it, then listen to your body and take a rest. Excuse me. If you're going to work out, say 5 or 6 days a week, you're taking 1 day break. Sometimes you may need 2 days break. That's okay. Right? Eventually you're doing this to become more fit, not to kill yourself in the process. Right. So yeah, so that's the whole idea. So, focus on that and trust me, you'll be fine. You will know when, you feel that, okay, now is the time where you need to, kind of slow down. And body is also telling you when you need to step up. And if you have a structured plan in place of your workouts, how you're going to be doing it, to just follow it, it will work through.
Okay. Well, for somebody who is leading a sedentary lifestyle since past couple of years, and if they decide to start exercising, start working out, what should be their immediate goal? Like definitely not high intensive, yeah.
Yeah.
But how do they start with?
Just walk.
Hmm.
I tell that like literally when I get people into my program, the first thing I tell them, walk. Because most of them are not doing that. Most of them tell me we're managing to do 2K steps a day. I said, body is not meant to do 2K steps a day. And I'm
Hmm.
not going to tell you to, go to the gym suddenly, do weights, do this, do that, because it's not going to be sustainable. Either you'll get injuries or you'll get irritated and frustrated and you'll drop out in the first week itself. So generally, for someone who's been sedentary for a long time, I ask them to just walk more. Even with that, they find it a challenge. So how can I even think of recommending, something else? And same goes for everyone, all of y'all who are sedentary, who are listening to this and who now feel, no, what, it's time to focus on health. Don't do anything big and fancy. Just start walking. If you haven't been walking, focus only at 2 to 3K steps in a day. If you have been doing 2 to 3K, focus on 4 to 5. So first, let your body be accustomed to movement, because that itself you may feel, okay, now my ankles are hurting. Now my calves are hurting. Now, this muscle is crying out, which I didn't even know existed. So all of that happens, right? So just focus on doing small, small steps because it's your body. So do it with love rather than kind of making it as a punishment that, okay, now I haven't been doing it for so many months or years. Now I'm going to do all the way this. So go slow with it and you will definitely see the results.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Sometimes it so happens like I started I'm running. This was especially during November, December, Jan. This period when I was participating in a lot of marathon, because that is the period when you see a lot of marathon getting
Yeah.
announced, and then there is Tata Mumbai Marathon, the glamorous one where you want to be part of it. But it so happened after that marathon got over, I'm not inclined to go for jog, for run. I feel I'm loving my morning sleep.
Yeah.
In those cases, how to stay motivated to
Hmm.
continue to do same set of activity, even though there is no immediate goal in front of me.
Yeah. So, see, that's the perspective, right? Our subconscious mind is very powerful. So, when you put a short term goal to it, it will put 100%. Someone's getting married, I need to lose weight. I am going to give it my 100%. A bride is getting married. So, we've had clients in the past, right? Bride's getting married. I've got 3 months to my wedding. 3 months, I need to lose absolutely whatever I can and get into the best of shape. When you put a very short term time frame to it, okay, so again, it could be a marathon goal as well. Once the goal is accomplished, there is confusion. Then what?
Hmm.
What's next? So that is why, to be very honest, I always recommend my clients never to focus on short-term goals. They can come in and go because, shadi hai and all of that, but don't make that as your why for doing something. So, for example, as I told you, right, like my why is very deep. I really don't want to be dependent on my kids or my husband or anyone in my old age. See, okay, situations come, that's different. But from my end, I'm trying my 100%. Yeah. So my why is a very long-term one, right? It's like a lifelong one. So figure out what is the why then in that case, because then that itself is enough to drive you to do every day what you need to be doing to get fit and healthy. Yeah, so like how you said, right, Namrata, I mean, you don't feel like because abhi in your mind, the goal is done, the end. Now you don't need to run. Now, probably when the next marathon comes in November, December, chances are that your motivation is going to be super high then because that again is going to be, behind your mind, right? That's the goal that you want. And that's your body, your mind is going to try and achieve that. So focus for you, like for example, if you look at you, focus on what is it that you want to do in terms of your health. Where is it that you want to go, right? It could be that you want to, you want to lose weight. It could be you want to be fit and healthy because you like what you do and you want to do a better job of it. So if you're fit and healthy, obviously you can go better in terms of your energy, in terms of your capabilities, capacity, all that improves once you're, physically also you're feeling good about yourself, you're, fit. So figure out a deeper goal because that's the only way. See, motivation is temporary. Your willpower is also temporary. Like if you're surrounded, like if you're very like nutrition freak, for example, and you're really like focused on your nutrition and all of that, walk into a room with everyone eating vada pav and chaat. How long will that last? Right? So same thing with willpower, same thing with motivation. It's all temporary tools. You need to find something which is more permanent, which is within you, which is your drive that's going to help you, every day, day on day, get up, go out and work out. Get up, go out and do meditation, get up and drink more water every day. Like, even as simple thing as hydration, very important, right? So all of that is basically kind of digging deeper into yourself and figuring out, your relationship with yourself. Once that is a little evident and clear, then it'll help you. So, for example, one of my clients, no matter how much she would lose, it would stay for some time and then she would gain. And then she would lose and then she was gain and she was fed up. See, more than that, you get fed up of yourself. You just lose hope in yourself, right? And that's the sad bit about it, all of this, right? That you tend to give up on yourself. And when I was coaching her, I was like, what is it, that why do you want to, push off 10 kgs? I want to get fit. I said, why do you want to get fit? Don't get fit. Let the 10 kgs be there. No, but I feel that if I lose weight, then I can wear better clothes. Okay, so what would better clothes make you feel like, right? I mean, what is it about wearing better clothes? How is that going to help? She's like, I'm going to get more confident. I'm like, okay, so you're going to feel more confident. And then what? What would happen with that confidence? She's like, I feel my stamina would improve. I said, okay, then what's the stamina going to help you? Right? So after doing this repeat set of questions, we came to the conclusion that her big why was losing weight, and she had a small baby, who had just started going to kindergarten. And she's like, so I want to lose weight. And then when we, figured out all these causes, the thing came out was that she wants to be able to show up 100%, and the parent competitions that happened in the games, like, in the class or in the sports day, and for her child to be proud of his mom. Now that was her big why, and we needed to work on that because that is sustainable. That with having that kind of why, she's not going to gain back. She is going to go on and on and on and do whatever it takes till she doesn't reach that goal. So yeah, that's my perspective, right? Find your big purpose of why you want to get fit, why you want to lose weight, or why you want to be healthy. Over and beyond of looking good and wearing good clothes and all of that, go over and beyond that, and that's when it's sustainable. So then trust me, motivation, willpower, you won't be dependent on that. You yourself would be sufficient. Yeah.
Yes. This was an excellent discussion, Payal. Lot of insights around fitness and how to build our schedule, how to be flexible with our daily routine requirement, and at the same time find time to exercise to remove those stress hormones, build in those positive hormones.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all this
Most
insights, and it was pleasure listening to you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Namrata. Thank you so much for, having me here. And honestly, to every woman out there, you have your own priorities. You have your own set of, your work, your life, your juggles, your home, and, family, and managing all of that. But in that process, never ever forget yourself. Always take some time out for yourself in the day. Do what makes you feel happy, because that is important. It could be something to do with fitness. It could be something to do with what you love to do. Could be reading a book, but ensure that you connect with yourself, honestly, daily, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to also do more, give more, because when you're growing as a person, so are everyone around you. So yeah, love yourself, be kind to yourself, and give yourself the health that you truly, truly deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you.